श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर टेनी, श्रीमान त्रिसल जी, मेरी प्रेरणा के स्रोत डॉक्टर अग्निशेखर, डॉक्टर चंगू, प्रिय मित्र शैलेंद्र जी, कुलदीप जी, प्रोफेसर हरिओम जी, श्रीमान युवराज जी, I'm so happy to be back here, and I'm so grateful that you remembered and provided me this opportunity. Since 16th of May, and I'm not saying this as anything different from how you've experienced, I think I'm living in a different world. 16th of May was the watershed in our lives almost, without exaggeration. There was a life we led before 16th of May, and there is this period that we are living now. Frankly, it is sinking in still. And when Shailendra was telling me about, or telling all of us about Ganga Aarti that went on for hours, I was trying to recall when was it last that I saw an Indian Prime Minister in a temple or even doing a puja anywhere. I couldn't recall. I don't know if you recall any occasion. As if it was a matter of embarrassment or a guilt that you could associate yourself with your faith, your symbols of reverence. And it is this that reminds you and keeps telling you that yes, the world has changed. Yes, things have changed substantially. That it's almost as if this country has got a new life. But the symbolism apart, when we say a new situation and we recall 16th of May, what are we essentially telling us is the mandate. And what an amazingly fantastic mandate it was. It was the stuff fantasies are made of. You get down to the details and you realize what I'm talking about. Look at four corners of India: Ladakh, Kanyakumari, Arunachal Pradesh in the far east, and the farthest western corner, Kutch. In all these four places, the mandate has come for the present dispensation. All the four corners. You look at the heartland, there is no exception left. You look at the key challengers. I mean, I thought Bihar was going to unravel it all over again, because the way Lalu Yadav was smelling an opportunity and the way media was projecting him as someone who was on his comeback. Despite the entire arithmetic cast against this mandate, what you really saw was exceptional. BJP fought only 30 seats. But the coalition itself won about 32. That was incredible. UP was amazing. Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. I mean, at the risk of repeating something that you've already known, I think this mandate was magical in the fact that a good 1/3 of this country voted for a party which was not supposed to be a party recognized or in existence across the country and with such a massive following. We were not supposed to go past even the halfway mark on our own. There was a huge speculation. So in terms of arithmetic, in terms of majority, it is as clear a mandate as you could even fantasize about. You couldn't have asked for more. And with your allies, you're so comfortably placed that I don't think there is even a question left in anybody's mind. That's the numerical aspect of it. The political aspect of this mandate is very clearly a mandate for a worldview which is distinct from what has so far prevailed. Mandate for an ideology and a kind of thinking, because someone who led this campaign couldn't have symbolized anything else. He was painted in the darkest of hues. He had almost created an ideological wedge between what had happened so far and what he represented. He represented a clean break from what had happened so far. The way he articulated things, even in the course of campaign, the way he mentioned up front how illegal infiltration from the east was threatening us. For the first time, I thought, in the national campaign discourse, Kashmiri Pandits were mentioned and with all the emphasis at his command. And it was noticed. We don't matter electorally, incidentally. But in terms of an issue, we were up there, right up there. And he made no bones about it. He didn't mince words. He wasn't ambiguous, like most of the predecessors were when they hedged and hawed, played on one hand this, on the other hand that. He did not strike a middle of the road in order to look more acceptable or package himself in softer and liberal packaging. I think that is where the mandate came for a political change. The change in the political thinking, the change in the political outlook. And finally, it was a mandate for the person, unambiguously. Not only because the way votes were sought by this formation, by this individual, but also the reasons touted for denying him the vote. The opposition said every vote cast for this party or for this candidate is going to be a vote for him, and therefore there shouldn't be a vote. So from both sides of the political divide, it was unambiguous as to who you are voting for or who you are not voting for. So there is no ambiguity in terms of whether it is a coalition, whether it is a rainbow of various interests, whether it is the party. For the first time, the candidates who have won themselves say that we did not matter in this election. I think there, the convergence, the focal point of this mandate, therefore, is to a person and what he represents. So somewhere when we define this mandate, it is extremely critical to bear. It's a clear mandate. It is a mandate for a break from the politics that had happened so far, and it is a mandate for the individual who represents that break. An unambiguous, clinical, clear, clean break from what has been happening so far. That's as far as India goes. The mandate in Jammu and Kashmir looks even more fascinating to me. I used to, because you can't expect more than 3 out of 6, so I was praying for 3, really. But I didn't know that BJP would emerge as the single largest party in terms of vote. I will invoke the cricketing parlance or a football parlance. When the teams are tied up on points, then you look at the run rate. In the case of football, when you are tied up for points, then you look for the goal difference, the scored for and scored against. So since we are tied up for points here, I looked at the votes. Almost 1/3 of voters in Jammu and Kashmir voted for BJP, and for the first time, if you add up National Conference and PDP votes also, they do not equal BJP's votes. If you add up their votes, BJP has scored 11,54,222 votes. PDP and National Conference put together are less than 11,29,000. So if J&K state itself has given its mandate, it has not only given 3 Lok Sabha seats, it has emphatically voted to the last vote in favor of this change, which itself is humongous. So a man comes from an all-India mandate, and the man comes with a mandate about some Kashmir itself. Imagine the kind of strength, the kind of moral authority it vests with Narinder Modi. In fact, the fear is that there is no alibi left. There is no reason not to act left. It's a carte blanche, as they say, it's a blank check. Now you have to exercise your will, and that's it. Where does the hope stem from? And I don't think the hope is dealing from the mandate. It is the mandate that defines the hope. Just before coming up to the stage, I was sitting with Yuvraj ji. I'm meeting him for the second time. And what he said, I'm not going to forget for the rest of my life. He said, you have some years to live. I don't. But now I can die in peace. Because I never thought I would live to see this day. I don't think anybody could have put it better. People at the fag end of their lives, when they say that I never knew I would live to see this day, they're not expecting any more out of it because they know that this itself is the harbinger of whatever has to happen next. So hope is the flip side of this coin. And it is frightening, to say the least. There is such a surge of hope. There is such a huge expectation riding on this mandate that it can frighten anyone. So let me not even attempt defining the contours of this hope. Hope is something which is very intangible, but is very palpable. You can't measure it. It can't be measured in kilos, liters, or meters. But when tears come down people's eyes, as I saw a few minutes back, you know it's there and what it can move. But what are the challenges? And let me come to the third point, and I hope I'm not exceeding my time. The challenge, I believe, is to deliver with a bit of caution, feet on ground, and with realism intact. Our problem has been that we haven't defined the problems clearly. We have lied about the problems. Let me put it bluntly. coming to the venue and Dr. Changu was talking to me, Kashmir as a problem symbolizes India's problems.